Boom! What's up, Waves Capital? It's Royce Jacob. Welcome back to the channel. And in this quick video, I simply want to talk to you guys about where I imagine the upcoming Bitcoin bottom to be, and also where I'm looking to pick up some shares and call options on a few of the Waves family's favorite OG names, Riot Blockchain and Coinbase. And honestly, you guys would know this if you're part of the portfolio group. I have been picking up a lot of Riot calls over the past couple of weeks, but I want to talk to you guys about where I'll really bag up in the case that these downside price targets are achieved. Okay? And I do feel like this final flush, as we've been saying, is coming much sooner than later. And by that, I mean, I think next week we will see that last wave of selling prior to a potential winter rally. Okay, so before we dive into the charts, I just want to preface this by saying that I know we've been talking a lot about the macro. The fundamental macroeconomic backdrop contributes not only to Bitcoin and crypto equities, but the entirety of the financial markets. And since our last video, since really the last few videos that I've posted, not much has changed, right? The Federal Reserve is still on offense. The potential for a black swan remains not super high, but elevated, and things are just uncertain, right? Q3 earnings are coming out. Q3 earnings season is off to a very choppy start. Things aren't looking good, but it's also important to remember that the stock market is not the economy. They're two very different things. The stock market historically recovers like 6 to 8 to 12 months prior to the actual economy. So I do think the markets could recover soon, even in the case that this Christmas season isn't all that jolly. But I don't want to echo the fundamentals once again. I don't want to parrot myself. We will cover macro and fundamentals, of course, because they are important over the coming videos and moving forward. But this video, heading into the weekend, going into what should be a pretty exciting week, and hopefully a week which presents plenty of opportunities. I do just want to stick to the charts, just talk to you guys briefly about the time horizons I'm seeing here in the short term. And again, price targets to the downside where I will be looking to purchase more call options, more shares, mostly call options though. Okay, so kicking it off with Bitcoin, then we'll move on to Riot and Coinbase. Before you do, please give the video a like. If you do go on to gain value from it today. And let me know in the comments down below if you guys have been buyers of Riot or Coinbase, if you are planning to be buyers of Riot or Coinbase, and or if you're just waiting, if you're waiting for the dust to really settle. So let me know down in the comments below, and of course, let me know why as well. Bitcoin is currently printing on the medium term a very clean descending triangle. Okay, descending triangle, nice flat floor of support right here. You can see this lower green line while also printing, also just being in a pretty obvious downtrend. But descending triangle again, first touch point here, next touch point creating that wedge formation, and then again, that nice floor of support. And typically, I do like descending triangle patterns because they are obviously part of my favorite trading pattern in the game, which is a bull flag. Now, this is not a bull flag because a bull flag kicks off. The flagpole of a bull flag is the parabolic rally. So we don't have a parabolic rally, but we do have a nice descending triangle. And realistically, because I do feel like the entire, the major equity indices, which I view to be the stock market, so the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, I do believe a bit more downside is ahead of us. But I don't think it's much. And again, I do really think that probably this next week to close out the month of October 2022 could be the week we see that final wave of selling, that final flush, as I've been saying a lot in the newsletter. But I don't think Bitcoin will see much downside. The fact that it is holding ground so strong around this $18,500 level is very, very promising. It's really held this level as support since that big sell-off we saw back in June. Okay, so for months, this level of support is held. There is a strong floor here that is unlikely to break. Again, unless another black swan occurs, which you never want to count on. That's, in my mind, really the only scenario in which we do see further downside in new 2022 lows. But right now there is a lot of support. We have this sign line as well, which is the line of support, just kind of on this it's more of a range as opposed to an uptrend. But line of support on this sideways range, again, also coinciding with the 18.5 level. And I really don't think we go below 18.5. So just to sum this up, you guys, I think we see a bit more selling. I don't think Bitcoin sees more than, say, what from here to 18.5 is like 5%. So, 4 or 5% to the downside maybe, but Really, you guys, Bitcoin has been holding up well relative to the equity markets, and I do think the majority of the selling is behind us. I do think, once again, we do see one more little spur of selling, but come early November, I do think we will resolve this descending triangle pattern right here to the upside. This comes to a perfect point. This comes to a perfect intersection. I guess the point of resolution is going to be November 3rd, and from there, and this really coincides with a lot of other charts that we've been looking at a lot in the newsletter as well. Really caught that first week of November. There's a lot of trend lines on many charts, many growth stocks as well, kind of coming to that point of resolution in the first week of November. And I do think we will see a lot of upside movement come early November, following the flush that hopefully occurs next week, because I do want to buy more calls. Okay, so let's discuss Riot and Coinbase. But first, I do want to read through a very short part of the Trade Alert newsletter that I sent out this morning. Okay, so feels to me like the macro bottom is close, but I remain convinced that one last wave of selling is in order prior to the winter wave to the upside. See those winter waves, baby. I think we'll see that final flush next week, and I'm stoked to put some dry powder to work when and if we see it. That said, it is entirely possible that we kick off that winter wave sooner than expected, so I've decided to begin deploying some of that dry powder today. I have a decently sized cash stack that I'm looking to put to work over the coming week, and I plan to dollar cost average. This term will sound very familiar to many of you, especially if you're involved in the crypto space, which, especially if you're watching this, you definitely are. I do look to dollar cost average into these positions, specifically, once again, call options positions. So for example, just dollar cost averaging 101. If I have $10,000 that I want to use over the course of 5 trading sessions, I'll deploy $2,000 per day. So it doesn't matter if Riot's ripping. Just for the example, if Riot Blockchain is up a few percent, if it's down a few percent, each of those days to dollar cost average, you're averaging in the total capital into that position, Joe. Okay. So regardless of what price action is doing on that given day, you will buy into it. Okay, so if it's down, even better, you get a discount. If it's up, hey, maybe the rally's kicking off and you don't want to miss the train. Okay, so that's the point of dollar cost averaging, and that's not a strategy that I as a trader deploy all the time, but because I feel the bottom is close, hey, again, maybe we kick it off sooner than expected. Maybe I'm wrong about this final flush, but I do have a solid cash stack to deploy. I did some of that today, further reinforce my longs, introduce some new faces as well. And I'm excited to see what WavesCap can do to close out the month of October. And of course, if you guys want to join Waves Capital for real, if you want to know how I personally trade my portfolio on a day-to-day basis, what my entire portfolio looks like, all call options, put options, stock positions, crypto positions, everything. First link in the description box down below, which takes you to this page. From here, obviously click on this guy, and from here, you scroll down a little bit, select any of the pricing plans that you choose. $15 a month, $40 for every 3 months. Try it free for 7 days. If you don't like it, you can always unsubscribe. But I seriously do believe you'll be sticking around. We have a very strong stick rate over at Waves Capital, which I'm very proud of and I do work very hard for. So if you guys want to join the winning team and receive everything you see, you are reading in front of you, again, first link down below. I appreciate it if you guys check it out. But again, if not, it's your loss. But I trust I'll see you in there. And if so, I'll see you on Sunday for our Sunday Stock Watch newsletter. Also, on top of the Trade Alert newsletter, you do receive price targets. This is just an example of a nice Friday 8-banger to head into the weekend with. Today, we covered on the charts the S&P 500, Apple, SoFi, Unity Software, Phase, Coinbase, Riot, and of course, Bitcoin. So you guys are getting a little piece of this today, I guess, in this video. But if you guys want daily updates on a few of our favorite names, on new names, on names that we've talked about here on the channel a lot, but, you know, slow times, really want to focus on the newsletter. If you guys want those as well, if you guys want daily price targets and updates on favorite growth stocks, that is included in this as well. So just a little cherry on top. Let's dive into Riot and just talk to you guys about where I see this going. So Riot is printing. Really, I mean, in my eyes, I'm calling this a bull flag. I've called it in the newsletter a bull flag. And the more everything starts aligning and really, once again, coming to that resolution point, where's this resolution? Really, I guess November 1st, come early November, I just get bullish. And for Riot specifically, you guys, Riot is at a market cap of $974 million. Riot at a sub-billion-dollar market cap in my mind, especially for the long term, is such an easy call. So right here, shares, if you just want to set and forget something, are great. But again, as a trader, I do swing trades, so I'm looking for specifically a 1, 2, even 3 month time horizon is how I like to structure my call options, my put options, my trades in general. I do think that we could see that winter rally. I do think we will see a winter rally. My money is on a winter rally, and I do think Riot comes down a little bit more. There's a very, very solid floor around 550. I really don't believe we come down much more than that. Maybe one little move to the downside. See like 550, 555 as we close out to the month, head into the new month. And I do think from there, this plays out as a bull flex. We see that big parabolic move up, followed by a descending triangle. Again, lower highs, but a solid support, a solid floor of lows. Again, really showing that the sellers are exhausted. And I do think Riot could ultimately make its way up to test kind of those January 2022 lows. This is best case scenario. If they really impress on their earnings report on November 14th, I think this could happen. See that nice second wave up to that line over there, which would take us all the way up to about $12.50 to $13. That's hyper optimistic, especially given this macro. But again, you guys, this is also looking like a nice two-wave pattern. Again, first wave up. You see the sell-off, you see the capitulation, the sideways price action followed by that second wave. Maybe it takes a bit longer than 12/16 or mid-December or even by the end of the year, but I do think another wave is coming, and I do think Riot is extremely undervalued at these levels, and I do think their earnings report on the 14th will put that on display. So close it out with Coinbase, and then we'll call it a day. You guys can head into your weekend. Coinbase. I do think Coinbase ultimately, at some point in time, is going to come up to retest again those kind of spring, I guess late winter, early spring lows that we saw when the sell-off really initiated during that time at the beginning of this year. But the low back there, which has not yet been retested, is $1.50. So I do think Coinbase at some point, I'll say during the next 6 months, 6 to 12 months, just to play it safe, we'll definitely see $1.50 again. Okay, I do think that's fair value. Coinbase 15 billion is cheap given its long-term potential for sure. If you guys believe crypto's the future, if you're watching this, I think many of you believe crypto is here to stay. Although obviously times are slow, that's the nature of cyclical markets. We've been here before, and if not, now you have it. You'll know how to play in the future, which is great. But I do think Coinbase, for sure, over the next 6 to 12 months, will get back to $1.50. But in the short term, again, I think another flush is coming. I do think Coinbase will test the bottom line of support on this shorter term descending channel. They announced earnings on November 3rd, which I can't imagine a scenario in which those will be good. So maybe wait until earnings or right before earnings, because there might be a lot of people expecting earnings to be bad. Wait for that pre or post earnings sell-off, because one of them is probably coming to establish some calls. But personally, I would be content buying some longer term calls in a range from $50 to $55. And I do think that's coming once again over the course of this week, and I'm excited to bag up. So we'll call it there, you guys. Short and sweet. That was a fun one to make. And again, if you want to know how I'm trading on a day-to-day basis, if you want the alerts, if you want to know the exact calls I'm buying, when I'm buying these calls, join Waves Capital. Again, first link down below, and I'll see you in there. And if not, I'll see you in the comments down below, because as always, I appreciate you guys watching this video. So as always, until next time, you guys, take action, make waves. Peace.